Well, hello there, everybody. This is the Computer Crusader. And today, we are gonna answer a question that's been in the news for quite a long time. Well, not really, but it's gonna be. Is Audacity spyware? Short answer? Yes. But that's not the entire video. Hey, that's a pretty good video. Nah, that ain't over yet. You're gonna have to listen to my super deep subwoofer voice and my face that doesn't even match it. Pasty white boy. Alright, probably gonna have to edit that out. But yeah, anyways, real quick before I begin and give you guys the long answer of why Audacity is bad in spyware and what we can do to sort of remedy the issue a little bit. I'm gonna take the time now to give you guys an update about why I haven't been posting in quite a while. And it's a couple of things. Mostly it's trying to figure out the schedule for recording and editing and doing all that stuff, as well as working on. If you see me look over here, don't think it's just me being weird. I mean, I am a little weird too, but I'm just looking at my recording over here, my screen OBS, and when you guys see the finished product, it'll show I have an overlay. I was working on overlays, some effects, some the the subscribe button that comes up from the corner, or you click on it, call to action, that stuff. I was doing all that. I'm setting up new cameras. You can't see the other camera because it's hidden away secretly. But yeah, and as you can see, trying to work on the green screen. This green screen must not be very good because it doesn't completely conceal me, so you can still see my cringy bed and cringy fan over there. So not exactly the best situation we got going on here. It may not even warrant being away for a couple 1 to 2 weeks. I'm not recording. But anyways, I just wanted to clear that up with you guys, just in case, so you weren't sitting there, hey, did the Crusader fall off his horse and die? Did he break his leg? No, nothing happened. By the way, I don't actually ride horses. That's just the logo of being a Crusader. I guess that's... Okay, yeah, this is kind of a weird intro, but anyways, it's also a face reveal. As you can see, I'm looking directly in the camera now. Staring into your soul. You better be careful now. Glare from my eyes is terrible. My glasses. Makes it look pretty bad. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to work on that next then. The lighting and stuff. As you can see, there is some latency because I'm using my phone as a webcam, because all the webcams I've had on the computers I own right now are pretty trash. Pretty trash. So yeah. But anyways, back to the actual main point of the video, which is, why is Audacity spyware? And the real answer is because of their recent privacy policy. And yeah, but that's not really what we're going to discuss for the entire video. We are also going to talk about alternatives and ways to remedy this. So you don't have to worry about using spyware now, which is very unfortunate that Audacity has come to this after the Muse Group acquisition. So anyways, here we go. Let's go to the computer screen now to see the exact reason why Audacity is spyware. Alright guys, so here we are now on the desktop, and now we're gonna talk about, finally, the question you guys have been asking from the thumbnail. And here's the answer. Audacity is spyware because of their recent desktop privacy notice, or their privacy policy update, you know. But even though they made some changes now, they did make some changes after a bunch of people were complaining. You know, I was more disappointed than anything a little bit because I like Audacity. I used it for the podcast episodes of the Crusader at the Round Table. You know, to do the editing and stuff. But oh, by the way, we're gonna talk about there's two different types of audio editors. It's destructive and non-destructive. Destructive is when, now I'm not 100% an expert on this. I recommend you go check out this guy. Where am I gonna put it? We'll put it right somewhere up there. It's a picture of his channel. His name is Unfa. He's a professional audio guy. He makes music for games. He uses completely free and open source software as well as the Linux operating system. I believe he uses Manjaro. So, by the way, keep a lookout on future videos. We're going to be doing a video on Linux operating systems. So keep a lookout for that in the future. But anyways, back to Audacity. And yeah, give a shout out to him. I don't know him personally. I look at his channel. It's really cool. So, yeah, go ahead and take a look at that. I'll leave a link, his channel link in the description down below as well. So, yeah. All right. Anyways, back to this right here, Audacity. So pretty much what everybody was concerned about, and I talked about this in an earlier podcast episode, was pretty much the reason why Audacity is spyware is because, see right here, sharing your IP address, your OS, and your Audacity version, including whether it was 32 or 64-bit mode for the architecture. So it even lists your architecture. That's the type of information that can come out of that. Your CPU architecture, your operating system, Windows, Mac, Linux, your IP address, which is something you do not want really leaked or transferred over the internet. You know, the least amount of times as possible. You do not want to have that all over the internet, your public IP, because they could really, even especially if it's actually a private IP. You do not want your private IP leaked out onto the internet, because that is where hackers can take advantage of you. They can exploit you. In case you didn't know that, they can exploit you. So, and it will not be very pretty, the outcome. But anyways, now they did make some changes over here. They changed the feature. They do not collect data and send it to law enforcement anymore, apparently. Apparently, we don't know for sure. But they still collect your user agent string, which is what I mentioned earlier, and they collect the country. They determine the country you're in from your IP address. So, and the basic technical data, error codes. Now it says they anonymize error report information by discarding the IP address and filtering all file paths. That even so, that still is something that is, not very private. It might be more secure, but it's not exactly private. So you know what I'm saying? There is a little bit of a difference between privacy and security. That'll be a future video as well. Lord, look at all these future videos I'm talking about now. I am making it up to you guys. I hope I do. Leave a comment down below if you enjoy the video so far. Leave a like as well to enjoy it. But anyways, that's pretty much the gist of why Audacity is spyware. Now we're going to talk about 5 alternatives. Well, actually, I'd say 6 alternatives. Because the first alternative we're going to talk about is simply using an older version of Audacity and not updating it to the recent version. So, but the reason why I say to use the older version of Audacity is because those versions do not have the same data collection and error report and networking IP address, stuff. The same data is not being used or collected from older versions. It's pretty much like, you know, regular Audacity, free and open source software, great open source editor, Audacity. Uh, by the way, I don't think I exactly talked about the difference between a destructive and non-destructive editor yet. If I already did, then please, future Alan, edit me out. Edit this part out. But anyways, pretty much destructive editing is where the original audio file is to a varying degrees, depending on how much you edit it. It is destroyed. You know, parts of it are destroyed, and the original file is always manipulated, and it's not. You can't just revert back to it whenever possible. Now, the difference is when non-destructive editing is yes, the original file is not touched. It simply just makes copies. If I remember correctly, it pretty much just will make a temporary copy of the audio file that is for you to edit while keeping the original still intact and there. Now, those are digital audio workstations. Those are the types of software that are non-destructive audio editors. Sorry about that. Now, Audacity, on the other hand, is a destructive audio editor, and so are the other two alternatives that I have mentioned after this. Okay, as you can see, Dark Audacity and Osun Audio are also destructive audio editors. Sorry if I give you some weird hand signs. I'm not trying to be a gangster. I'm just, I don't know. It's like talking with my hands. I'm part Italian, so you know how that is. But anyways, so the first alternative is to pretty much just use an older version of Audacity and set it to not update. Now here's the second, and this is actually the one that I use right here. It's called Dark Audacity. Please disregard this right here. There is no green lock. This is not HTTPS site. This is an HTTP. So it is not TLS encrypted, and that really doesn't matter unless you do one of these right here. Sign up or log in. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it is what it is. But anyways, this is what I use actually instead of regular Audacity. I use right here Dark Audacity, which is pretty much, they took Audacity, the guy who made this, I forgot what his name was exactly, but he pretty much just took Audacity, tweaked a couple of stuff, and made it a default dark theme and color scheme. Like he pretty much inverted the color scheme from a regular Audacity. So, yeah, that's pretty much, but otherwise, it's basically Audacity. And they also, he does not have spyware on this. He does not do data collection from this Dark Audacity does not have the data collection technology or scripts in it that Audacity does, the newer version. But anyways, this is this is another destructive audio editor because it's pretty much Audacity reskinned and modified slightly. And licensed under the GPL. By the way, all these alternatives, with the exception of Osun Audio, is open source and pretty much free. Now, Ardor, the other this is the other one of the alternatives right here, Ardor. That one you do have to pay for if you use it on Windows or Mac. The scheme is a little weird, so I'm going to discuss that in a little bit. But anyways, this is pretty much Dark Audacity. Here's the website, darkaudacity.com. By the way, I'm going to link the website to all of these alternatives in the description down below. So be sure to check that out later. And okay, here we go. Here's where you download. You go through. If you're using Windows, it's pretty much a next finish. This is available for Linux on most of the repositories, and I believe this is also available for Mac as well. It should be, because Audacity is also available for Mac. Mac, yep. So you may be able to download from the Mac App Store or Homebrew or whatever you used to download on Mac. I'm not a big Mac guy, as much as I am Windows and Linux, so I may have to learn that for this channel. You may see some Mac stuff. Probably just going to be a video of me roasting it, roasting Apple completely. Well, what would you be? Peeling an apple. I'm going to peel apple with that. Please don't sue me. Okay, anyways, here you go. You can donate, because these are all free and open source, with the exception of the next one, which is Osun Audio. Well, that's a pretty good transition right there. Pretty smooth, just like my voice. Anyways, that was a little creepy. Osun Audio is the only alternative on this list that is not open source. However, it is free. It's completely free. There is no paid plan with this. It's just not open source. So, however, here's a screenshot of it. As you can see, it is pretty much very similar to Audacity. It's not as feature-rich as Audacity. So you can't use, VST or... Yeah, you can't use VST plugins like you would in the DAW or Dark Audacity or Audacity. This is just very simple editing. I guess you can do compression, equalization, limiting, the basic audio editing stuff or processing stuff that you would do. And keep in mind, I'm not actually an audio engineer or audio professional. Again, I'm going to put the Unfa screenshot up right now as well. By the way, go check him out. He's the real professional right there. And there's a couple of other people I recommend too. Trying to think now. I don't know them off the top of my head. I just know Unfa. He's pretty cool. And he's got a lot of good content, again. So another shout out to Unfa. Pretty cool. So that's that. Very simple website. Of course, it's probably the simplest one on here. Besides maybe LMMS. Which is Okay, so anyways, that's Osun Audio. Now that's all the destructive audio editors that I would recommend to you. So now we're going to go on to non-destructive editors, starting with, and these are all, by the way, non-destructive audio editors are also known as DAWs, or Digital Audio Workstation, or DAWs. I don't know how exactly you say it, but so we're going to start off with the third alternative, which is going to be Ardor or Ardor. Whichever one it is, I don't care how you say it. There might be... please don't scream at me in the comments if I said it wrong and you know how it's said. Just, whatever. I'm going to call it Ardor. Ardor or Ardor. I'm just going to call it Ardor for the rest of this video right now. And this is the first digital audio workstation. This is completely free and open source for Linux. Now, here's the weird thing about this. This is the only one that's actually paid. Well, actually, no. ZRhythm has a paid plan. But it's not as weird. It is a little bit weird. But it's not as weird as this. This is probably like the weirdest payment plan. What it is, if you use either macOS or Windows, you need to pay, instead of donations, you would have to pay if you use those two platforms and you want it on those platforms. It's already pre-compiled and, ready to go. They'll just give you the exe if you're on Windows, Mac, whatever the app package file format is there as well. They'll give you that, but you have to pay $1 a month for those if you want either macOS or Windows, the app for those. Now, Linux, it's available in most repositories of a bunch of distros, Arch, Gentoo, Debian, Ubuntu. All of them have Ardor on here, and it's completely free there. You do not have to pay. It's just free. There you go. Uh, but for Mac OS and Windows, you would have to pay that $1 a month, which is not very bad. I mean, considering how cool this stuff, this is probably the one I would recommend the most. This is the most feature-rich one out of all the ones I'm mentioning here. So, of course, the website, very well designed, very simple, very clean. And of course, you can record on here, you can edit, you can mix. So, exactly like what you would expect a DAW to do. Again, you can mute, you can do equalization here, fader work, gain, set gain. This is good for audio engineers, musicians. I mean, people who record, okay, composers, people who have podcasts and YouTube, such as myself. We could also use that as well. But, and this is available. You can do MIDI in here. That's something you can't do in Audacity. You can use MIDI, which is like, if you don't know what MIDI is, musical instrument digital interface is what it stands for. You can pretty much get a MIDI controller, which looks like a very small piano or a melodica if you play that. But what you would do is it's pretty much like a MIDI keyboard piano. You could plug it into your computer through USB, and it would work as like you can play the notes in your DAW, and then use these plugins right here, the VST plugins, Linux VST. You can use that to make it sound like any instrument. So if you don't have a guitar, you can pretty much use a MIDI controller and use a guitar plugin to make it sound like a guitar, which is pretty cool. Or a violin, or an electric guitar, or a saxophone, or a flute, whatever. You can use it for whatever. A trumpet, who knows? And of course, Jack for Linux. You can also use Core Audio for Windows. And I forgot what the one for Mac was. Again, I don't know as much about Mac. Now, the real cool thing is here, too, for people who want to use this for YouTube or podcasts, this allows you to also import videos and sync the audio and the video together right in Ardor, without having to use like a video editor such as Kdenlive or Final Cut Pro or whatever. I don't know what they use now. I use Kdenlive. But anyways, and of course, open source. I got manuals, documentation. Yeah, this is probably the one that I would recommend the most. It's the most feature rich, and I think it was the first ever free and open source DAW available on the market. So it has the age and the notoriety already developed. The reputability is higher on this than the other DAWs that I'm going to mention in a little bit. Or especially the one I'm going to mention next, which just recently came out. It's called ZRhythm. Now, ZRhythm is, again, a brand new DAW, completely free and open source. However, there is a payment plan that is very weird. It's not as weird, again, as Ardor. Ardor, but it is very similar. It's like if you're on Windows or if you want it's not exactly even if you're on Windows. I think it's if you want the pre-compiled app package, so you wouldn't have to sit there and go on the terminal and compile it yourself like on Linux. Or if you're a Gentoo user, you probably know what I'm talking about. But if you want the pre-compiled version where you don't have to do anything work, you just install it. Whether you're on Mac, Windows, or Linux, you would have to pay, I think, $10 a month or something. Now, this does look like it's like the brightest interface out of all the DAWs and audio editors that I've listed already. Looks like it's got the most color. It's the most vibrant. Seems like it has it's one of the cleanest UIs I've seen. Even cleaner than Ardor, even though Ardor is kind of a little bit all over the place, but very clean, even though it still maintains a lot of the features that Ardor has. However, it's not exactly. I would put this as second place. This is really good for um audio engineers and people that are already at the professional level. They kind of know what they're doing, but uh, they don't exactly, or they may have tried Ardor in the past and maybe they thought it was a little too messy. I'd probably recommend ZRhythm for people like that, for people who are, you know, still professional but want an even cleaner interface. And it also says you can automate stuff on here using scripts, so pretty cool. And it also has a section here for plugins, so they have their own plugins they provide, as well as a community forum right here that you can access for support or whatever. And as well as they learn and explore, documentation stuff as well. So yeah. Anyways, that's ZRhythm. Very interesting. Yeah, I think it still might be an alpha, the alpha phase. So this is probably going to be the most buggy audio editor that I have on my list. So I wouldn't recommend it if you want something for a main thing. This would just be something to try out for now. Now I know the developer on his GitHub. He's working very hard. He's doing a lot of commits. Uh, all the power to him. Pretty cool. So, I'm really excited to see where this goes because this looks like already a pretty cool piece of software. So yeah. But anyways, we're gonna go to our last one now, which is the easiest to use DAW non-destructive editor on the list, but it's also kind of has the least amount of features. It is LMMS, also known as Linux Multimedia Studio. Now, this is the only DAW on the list that doesn't have a weird payment plan. This is completely free to use. There is no paid plan, and it's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. And as well as free BSD, which I believe Ardor is also available for free BSD as well. So actually, that's 4 completely different platforms. That is very cross-platform that it's got on right now. This is not available for BSD, I just remembered. This is only for Windows, Linux, Windows, or Mac. This is not for free BSD or BSD-based operating systems. Only Ardor also allows for BSD. So if you have a BSD computer, pretty much the only one you can use is probably Dark Audacity, Osun Audio, or Ardor. But anyways, so LMMS, or Linux Multimedia Studio, is basically it's another DAW, digital audio workstation, non-destructive, completely free. Like I said earlier, free to use, free to share, modify, whatever. And of course, it has support for VST plugins and sound font support, I guess. And again, has MIDI. You can do MIDI controls. Now, I actually have this on my computer. I played around with it a little bit. It is very easy to use, and I would recommend this for people who are just getting into audio editing or using a DAW. This is really good for people who are beginners. Probably the best one on this list for people who are beginners. That is not a destructive audio editor like Audacity. Audacity and Dark Audacity are also very easy for beginners to use. Now, the one big drawback with this is you cannot record in this DAW. You cannot just simply record a file right in there and edit it like you can with Ardor or ZRhythm. You would have to record in a destructive audio editor like Dark Audacity or Osun Audio and import it using an audio processor I guess plugin. You would use the audio processor plugin and import the file into that, and then you can make adjustments through that. So yeah, that is a little bit of a pain, and it can be very a little bit of a pain. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah. But anyways, this is apparently made by musicians for musicians. So a bunch of musicians, I guess a group of them, who apparently know how to program, also better than me. A little bit disappointed in myself now. But yeah, apparently they came together because they wanted to make a DAW that was free and open source and would, that they can, that fit their needs as well, and fit the needs of the open source community. Again, sharing means caring. Don't be modest. They want you to share your creations. You can do that right here on their website. The website is probably the best designed out of all the digital audio workstation websites, besides maybe ZRhythm. But now all of these websites are very well designed. They're very clean. But LMMS, pretty cool website. Again, Windows, Mac, Linux. By the way, you actually do not need a dedicated MIDI controller with this. I almost forgot to mention that. They have an option here where you can use your keyboard as a MIDI controller. It's a little bit of a pain. It can be a little bit confusing at times, but it is a nice feature to have in there. So that's very cool. Of course, they have 16 built-in synthesizers. I can't even speak. You can add more as well. So VST, again, plugin support, full. You can add Nintendo NES sounds, Game Boy sounds, whatever. You can do layering. You can do again basic audio processing, compression, equalization, limiting, reverb, distortion, bundled graphic and parametric equalization, and spectrum analyzer. So right there, I mean that's pretty cool right there. So yeah, again that's LMMS. Really good for beginners, and yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So that is my video on my thoughts on Audacity. And pretty much explaining how it's uh, spyware and the different alternatives that you can use to sort of remedy the issue and kind of avoid getting spyware, avoid having the NSA come through your computer like this and grab all that data. But anyways, that's a discussion for another time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I do apologize for not uploading as frequently as I usually do. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make it up to you guys. You will get another podcast episode this week. Again, those are always going to be on Fridays now at around 7 or 8 o'clock. That's the new schedule for the podcast. It gives me some time to work through because I do have a part-time job as well. And I'm also studying to become, a cloud engineer or cloud architect in IT. So this is another great platform to use another way to force me to learn and do research on my own rather than just simply rely on formal education to give me the knowledge. So this is a really good way to express my or to convey my knowledge to you guys as well. But anyways, so yeah, that's that video. If you enjoyed it, once again, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts. Don't know if I already said that yet or not, but